Hey guys, it's Time Lord. This is going to be my first time doing a commentary video like this on my channel, so here's to testing things out. My mic isn't necessarily top of the line or anything, but it should get the job done for now. Anyhow, in this video I'll be commenting on my most recent solo Grandmaster Nightfall, clear of the fallen Saber, using Unarmed Warlock. The build that I'm using here has a very aggressive play style. With Dynamo on my helmet and distribution on my class item, every time I cast my class ability, I'm going to get a huge chunk of super energy. Vesper radius means that if there are enemies around me, at least 3 enemies around me, I'm going to get increased class ability regeneration. With up to 6 enemies around me, I'll get 1500, I believe, class ability regeneration, which is just insane. It's going to allow me to cast my Rift so often and get so much super energy. Okay, so there you saw that I just destroyed my Sparrow. The reason that I do that is so that it doesn't kill me later. I don't want enemies to blow it up and me to be standing right next to it when that happens. Also, I immediately break the gun on the ship, because if that thing shoots you, you're dead. It does a lot of damage. So as soon as the enemies come in, I cast my Rift and I throw my grenade. I'm going to keep doing this as often as possible because, well, for one, I want to get my super ability energy going, and I want my grenade ability energy going. Also, every time I cast my Rift and enemies get near me, they get blinded, which gives me even more survivability on top of the healing. So there's never a reason not to cast your Rift. You're going to get so much of your Rift back ability energy for free that just cast it as often as you can with this build. Now, you'll notice that I'm going to get out of the ring here in a second. The reason for that is because at 38% is kind of when the ship goes away and the next ship starts spawning in. I don't want it to reach 38% until I kill this champion. So, as soon as he spawns in, I stun him, I pop my super, which is going to instantly kill him, and then I step back in the ring, and now the new ships are coming in. I'm breaking their guns off with Arbalist. It takes about 5 or 6 shots with Arbalist to break it off. Finish it up with machine guns. And now I'm going to go for those snipers right after the guns are destroyed. Those snipers are pretty deadly. They'll come up to the right if you don't kill them, and they hurt a lot. So after the snipers are down at around 50%, or maybe a little after, the barrier champion's going to come out. So as soon as that barrier champion comes out, I'm going to kill that captain there, and then I'm going to go straight for the barrier. I'm going to step off the plate, because if you reach about 70 to 75%, that's when the 2 ships are going to go away, and it's going to spawn in the next wave. I want to make sure that bear is dead before that happens, because otherwise he's just going to start shielding too many enemies. It's going to get really annoying to deal with. So I purposefully get off the plate there and go straight for that barrier champion. Alright, now that barrier champion is dead, I'm just going to walk around here and clean up a few of the enemies that were being shielded by him. Soon here, I'm going to get back on the ring. Here we go, I'm back on the ring now. And the next ship is going to spawn at around 75%. It's going to continue to spawn a couple of waves of enemies before the ships leave. So I'm just going to try and clean those up as best as I can. Ideally, you would like to kill all of these enemies before you spawn in the next wave. I'm not very good at doing that in this run. There's a lot of them still alive by the time the next wave spawns in, and you can see that I'm kind of torn. I want to kill those enemies, but I also know that I need to break the guns on that ship as quickly as possible. So I kind of make a gambit here. I throw a grenade back there, hope that it will distract them long enough for me to kill the guns on the ship, which it does. Barely, but it does. That the ship's in. All I have to stun that overload is my melee, so I just go up and slap him real quick. I've got my super, so I'm going to instantly nuke him. I'm really hoping that I can kill that barrier champion, or excuse me, the overload champion, before the barrier there shields him, because that would be really annoying if he does shield him. It happens. Anyhow, so I just keep on killing enemies. You notice that I step off the plate before it reaches 100%, because I want enemies to continue to spawn. I want to get my super back for the next section. I have a plan for the next section. So I'm just letting them spawn. I'm casting my Rift. I've almost got my super back here. The ship goes away, and I don't fully get my super back, but I'm close enough that by the time I need it, I'll have it. So I can just step back on the plate, finish it up, and move on to the next section. I'm going to run around, gather ammo. I want to make sure that have as much ammo as possible, and then just go. I've got enough ammo, so it should be fine. So in this next section, the barrier champion is the most annoying thing in this next room. If he gets back there and starts shielding the snipers, it makes this part so annoying. So the risky strategy that I do here is I just rush in. I know where the barrier champion spawns. I rush in, and as long as I'm quick and I use my glaive block, I can rush in before anything starts to shoot at me, and I just go straight for that barrier champion. I use my super on him. He's dead. Now this whole room is a whole lot easier to deal with. Arc Jolt goes really hard here. I just get my grenade back, and I chuck a grenade around the corner and use the machine gun. and everything just dies from Arc Jolt. Arc Jolt is just so strong. Keep casting your Rift to get your super ability back. Keep casting your Rift to get your grenade ability back. I want to get my grenade back because I want to use it to stun this Overload champion. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now. And luckily, those 2 Ionic Traces give me my grenade back and my Rift back, so I can quickly kill this Overload Captain. And then I know there's another Overload Captain around the corner to the right. And I don't have a grenade to stun him, so I'm going to wait till he teleports away, and then I just run around and collect orbs. And luckily, it's just enough to get me my grenade. I almost die, but luckily, Glaive Block is just so strong, so I'm able to stun him and put my Rift down. And just block as he walks back. I know that if I'm not blocking right now, he would kill me. So I just wait for him to walk back on his own, and then I can use my machine gun to get the kill. Now in this section, I'm going to go for that vent and open it up as quickly as possible. The reason being is because I know that there's going to be 2 overloads that spawn in that hallway, and I know I've got my super. I want to kill them with my super, and I want to take advantage of Thunderous Retort, which is an extra bonus damage to your super. So I'm trying to get back there and spawn those champions in before my amplified goes away, which I barely do with like a second to spare. But luckily I do. Both of those champions are dead. Now I can go back out to the hallway. I'm going to try and quickly run into this vent. I kind of fail. I kind of just run into the wall. That was my plan. It didn't happen. So instead I just turn around, place down a rift, and regain a little bit of health, and then I go through. So this electric hallway section can be made really easy if you are on an arc subclass. It doesn't matter what class, as long as you have an arc subclass equipped and you have speed boost. Normally when you hold the ball, the little orb, it slows you down. But if you have speed boost, you can just continue to run and slide. And you can walk and run faster than the electricity. So that's what you do. You just make sure you have amplified, you have speed boost, and then grab the orb and just run down the hallway. Slide right underneath that splitter shank. And as long as you do that, you should be fine. Okay, so going into the next room, I place down a rift right here because I know it's going to kill a few enemies, and then I'm going to get my rift back pretty quickly, which I already have it back. I throw a grenade there at that overload champion. Keep placing down my rift. I want to kill him quickly because I want to kill him before the barrier servitor comes out. I know there will be one. Also, I placed down a rift there, even though he's shooting at me, because I take note of what type of Overload Captain he is. There's a couple of different types of Overload Captains. They all shoot different weapons. Some of them are more dangerous than others at close range. I noticed that he was shooting the rocket launcher thing, which is not very dangerous at close range, so I'm okay to place down a rift. I keep on killing this barrier champion. Again, I want him to be dead before the Overloads come out, which they do come out, and I hear them stunned, and I see them stunned, so I know they're right behind him. So as soon as that barrier champion's dead, I super, knowing that it'll kill both of them because Chaos Reach is one of those supers that overpenetrates. So if I line the enemies up one behind the other, I can damage both of them at the same time. And now they're dead. Okay, so going into this next room, I use my machine gun at first because I'm trying to kill as many of those drakes as possible before the overload shields them. Also, I know from previous experience that if I run in and place a rift right where I just did, the snipers to the left and the overload to my left won't be able to hit me. So I'm pretty safe right here. I just keep on placing down rifts, keep on hitting them. I'm about to fat finger a grenade. That was not a grenade that I intended to throw, but oh well, I get so much grenade energy anyways. So after the barrier is dead, keep on placing down drift. I noticed I almost have my super. I want to get it back so I can deal with those overloads with my super. So I'm going to wait until I see that they're all kind of together, and then I throw a grenade to stun them all, place down a rift. I get my super back, so I'm going to super, and again, I'm going to try and line up 2 overloads, one behind the other, so that way I can damage multiple overloads with my super. And you see, I was able to fully kill one and almost kill another with one super because of that. And now all I've got left is one overload. I just throw a grenade at him, keep blocking so that he doesn't kill me, and once my Arc Soul stuns him, then I go in for the finisher. Just run around the room, collect a little bit of ammo before going into the boss room, and head up into the boss room. So as the boss begins to come out of the hole, I make sure to throw a grenade down and to cast my rift before he comes out. And then once those are done, I can start stabbing him. You'll notice that I stop stabbing him and start blocking whenever the boss is about to stomp. You can see when he's about to do it. He is pretty telegraphed. So just as long as you're stabbing him, you should be fine. Just keep watching him to make sure that you can block whenever he stomps. Thing is, even if you don't block when he stomps, as long as you're standing in a rift and you have fairly high health, you should be fine. So it's not super dangerous, but it is still good to block. I should note here, be careful. I get a little close to that wall right there. If you get too close to that pillar to my left, the electric wall, it will kill you fairly quickly. Just be careful of that. For this second phase, it's pretty much the same as the first. I'm going to go in, chuck a grenade, place down my rift, and just keep stabbing. I'm actually pretty bad at blocking whenever the boss stomps here in this section, but again, because I'm in a rift, it doesn't matter too much. The reason why I say block is because if a storm of thing happens, like if the boss damages you and then a bunch of tanks shoot you all at the same time, it is possible that you die. So try to block if you can. If you don't, not that big of a deal. So after the boss teleports away, I'm gonna run back here, and instead of going to the left like I did before, I'm gonna come back to this pillar. It provides a lot of cover, and it provides a better vantage point for taking all these things out. As you're taking out the barrier champion, be mindful that there are going to be 2 sniper shanks that spawn out of that vent up to the right side of the boss room. They will do a lot of damage if you're not watching them. Now, I accidentally I should have placed down that rift there because the barrier regained a little bit of health. I kind of got stuck in the rift placing animation, but luckily it didn't matter too much. So after this, barrier champion is dead. I'm going to not go back and stab the boss. He's a lot more dangerous in this phase than he was in the previous 2 phases since he shoots continuously. So instead, I opt to use my super right here. And the reason that I use it right here instead of in the final stand phase like most people would is because I want to take advantage of Thunderous Retort. That's a lot of extra damage out of my super. And I can pretty much almost completely push him out of this phase entirely with just my super if I use it right now while I have Thunderous Retort. During the final phase, there's not a lot of stuff for you to shoot to get amplified. So I just opt to use it there instead. So now that we're in the final phase, in the final stand phase, this phase is really, really easy if you just remember to keep moving. That's the thing in a lot of strikes, in a lot of boss rooms. People wonder how you survive. Like in Lightblade for example, if you just keep moving, don't stand still. Standing still is death. If you just keep moving, just keep rotating, it's a high chance you survive. As you're rotating around this room, just know that both of the vents in the top left and the top right side of the room will occasionally spawn sniper shanks, and exploder shanks will eventually come out of the vents on the bottom. So just keep an eye out for those, and as long as you're killing them pretty quickly, and you keep rotating around in the room, don't get too close to this boss, you honestly should be fine. This boss in this final phase does a lot of damage if he gets too close to you. That's why I'm just not even going to try to melee him. It's just not worth it. I'd rather just rotate around the room and hit him with a machine gun. And that's it. Though this definitely wasn't a perfect run, I hope you guys can enjoy the video. Before I make another one of these commentary videos, I'll try to eliminate the mic popping and try working on not having moments of silence in the middle of the video, kind of making it more of a continuous commentary. I would do it right now and re-record some of this stuff, but I'm kind of on a time crunch since I'm going to be going out of town in a few hours, so I just really don't have time for it right now. Anyhow, I'll see you guys in the next video.